That was weird. What's up guys, Matthew Monas here, and today I'm reviewing the iPhone 8 and 8 Plus in just 96 hours. Usually I do this style of video, then 2 weeks down the road give you my full review. But I feel confident enough that I can give you the full review right now just because this is such a small iterative update. Also, I'm not going to bombard you with 1,000 iPhone 8 videos from does the iPhone 8 charge while I'm eating a carrot to does the iPhone 8 Plus make me look fat at night. I'm just going to talk about what I like and I don't like. Starting off with what I don't like. I don't like this design. This is the same still design for the past 4 years. Beautiful 4 years ago, but not today. With phones getting bezel-less displays, easier to hold in your hand, and better looking screens, there's really no excuse that Apple couldn't take the time to update this phone even by a little bit. I understand the iPhone 10 is just around the corner and it's going to be a beautiful phone, but the iPhone 8 Plus could have had their bezels reduced by a little bit to make people feel like they're getting something different. Now, obviously you could argue that Samsung has had the same design for the past few years as well, but those designs have been refined every single year. The edges don't feel as rough, the phone itself feels easier to hold, there's less bezel on the screen, so you have more screen real estate in a smaller form factor, things that people want in their smartphone. iPhone is kind of following what Sony does, releasing the same design and just updating the internals. But there are some nice things about this phone. The first and foremost is finally it has wireless charging, something that Android users have been enjoying for the past 5 years. It's not fast wireless charging. Apple is going to push out an update in the near future to change the wattage from 5 to 7.5, but I don't think it'll ever be as fast as Samsung's version. In order to get wireless charging, they had to change the back to glass, which obviously looks nice, but of course gets fingerprints, and if you drop it, it is more likely to break. Now, a lot of you out there are probably saying, oh my God, Matt, you are so negative and biased. You're probably getting paid by Nokia so that iPhone sales drop and sales of the 3310 go up in value. That's not what's happening here. I'm being honest with you guys. I'm an enthusiast. I get to review these products every year and see the innovation progress forward. I just don't feel like this is what Apple is all about. I think they could do much better. But I am going to talk about some of the things that I do like. I do think the speakers on this phone are leaps and bounds from the majority of flagship phones that came out in 2017. They are significantly louder by 25%. They sound a lot fuller, there's a little bit of bass, and they just sound very rich. The display is even better. Even though it's using the same LCD technology, it's significantly brighter, and the addition of True Tone really makes a difference. This is one of those little things where if you turn it off, you start noticing it, but once it's on, your whites are always white, and the colors always look fantastic. Now, obviously it's not as good as an AMOLED panel like on a Galaxy Note 8 or the Samsung Galaxy S8, but for an LCD panel, this is still one of the best on the market. The next thing that I really like is the performance. The A11 Bionic chip inside of this thing is incredibly fast. In fact, the A10 from last year is still faster than the majority of Android chips that are currently on the market. If you love speed and you love a fluid performance, and when you combine that with Apple's synergy between the hardware and the software, you're gonna get the most fluid experience on the iPhone compared to anything else that's currently out there. But is a faster CPU enough to justify buying the iPhone 8 or 8 Plus? I personally don't think it is. The 7 and the 7 Plus feel just as fluid. In fact, I couldn't really tell the difference on day to day. There might be the odd time where I feel like it's a little bit snappier, but I don't feel like there's any lag using either device. The next change was the cameras. They're still using 12 megapixel sensors, but they are different sensors. They allow in more light and they have deeper pixels. So basically what you get is better photos, but they're not going to be significantly better than the ones on the iPhone 7 and 7 Plus. In fact, I actually compared it to the Galaxy Note 8, and I found the Note 8 to do a much better job with details. So if you look at those shadows, the details are a lot more present and also does a better job with sharpening. In fact, Apple is starting to take an opposite approach to their post-processing. Before, their photos used to look very, very natural. Now they're a little bit more contrasty. And Samsung's photos, which were always very contrasty, have actually been reduced to look a little bit more natural. Low light is pretty even between both phones, so they both do a good job at that. And I find live focus or portrait mode a lot of fun on both of these devices. Now the iPhone does have portrait lighting, which lets you change between different lighting scenarios. So you have like studio, contour, and stage lighting. They're a lot of fun to play with, but it's obviously still in beta, so it's not perfect, and you do get situations where the photo ends up looking very awkward. But I did find the live focus to be a little bit better on the Galaxy Note 8. I find with the Note 8 that it processes the subject first, then takes the background into consideration, where the opposite approach happens on the iPhone. But one big feat for the iPhone 8 Plus is the fact that you can now shoot 4K video at 60 frames per second. That's pretty amazing. I know on some Sony phones you can do 960, but the resolution is set to 720. This is at 4K, so you can really get that nice slow motion if you really want to. So overall, both of these phones have fantastic cameras, and I think we're at the point right now that no matter which flagship phone you buy, except for the Essential phone, you're gonna get a really good camera. And this gives you, the consumer, the opportunity to choose another device based on other features. And last up is battery life. Apple actually reduced the size of the battery in the 8 and 8 Plus, but I get very similar results to the models from last year. I end the day with about 35 to 40%. Now, if you're wondering, does it get better battery life than the Note 8? Yes, it's significantly better. I find with the Note 8, I have to charge around 5 o'clock if I want to take it into the night. Now, I know I'm making a lot of comparisons to the Galaxy Note 8, and I think the reason why I'm doing that is because a lot of people who are looking at the 8 Plus are probably considering the Note 8 as well, because they're very similar in price. So let's wrap up this review. The iPhone 8 Plus and 8 have some nice little upgrades. I just don't think they're that big compared to previous models. I think if you're in the market for a brand new iPhone, you're better off saving the money, getting the 7 or the 7 Plus. If you are planning on buying the 8 Plus, you might as well wait for the iPhone 10. It only costs a little bit more. I honestly don't understand why Apple has these two devices on the market right now. What they should have done was released one iPhone 8, refine the design, reduce the bezels by a little bit to show people that they're still innovating instead of releasing a phone that most people won't be able to get their hands on. I mean, if the Essential phone can do it with an LCD screen, there's no reason why Apple couldn't either. So that wraps up my review of the iPhone 8 and 8 Plus. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, because if you did, I want to see you smash the like button. If you're new to the channel, subscribe, and I'll see everybody in the next video.